Hello, everyone. Hi there. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I didn't really put out much of an announcement that I was doing this, so I'm glad to see that a few people have made it. Hi, Kathy. Hello, hello. Hi, Erica. I just texted with you. Kathy, I haven't texted you yet today. What's wrong with me? It's good to see you all here. I'm very thankful that you're joining me. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. I did a bunch of pre-recorded videos last week, so I thought this week I would do lives, and I'll get back to alternating between the two. I have a lot, as always. I have prepped quite a bit because I was really excited. I got excited about the topic I wanted to cover today, and I went overboard. So if I can't finish everything tonight or this afternoon, I might try to go live on Sunday afternoon if all works out with the family and finish up what I don't finish tonight or this afternoon. Sorry. I put in the comments before this, I'm a little anxious today, a little shaky. So I am sure that will probably come through in the video, but I'm hoping. I know some of you understand what it's like. Yes, I got a 1.5 day cold on Wednesday. I get sick all the time. This year's killing me. But I'm feeling better today. I just did Pilates, ran home, and here I am. Okay, I'm glad you are all here. I hope you can hear me okay. So today I am focusing on using innovative products. So I think one of the things that I really liked about the last 2 years in our industry is I feel like companies are becoming more innovative in what they have to offer, not just stamps and dies like we had for many years. Hi, Libby. I find that so many people or so many companies are coming up with ways to kind of push the envelope and keep us interested and inspired. Now, I do want to say this right away. I know that not everybody wants or can get all of these things, right? I totally get it. And that's why I still use stamps, stencils, and dies, the basic things. But I think it's fun to see what they're coming up with. And one of the companies that I think has really done a good job pushing the envelope with creativity and being innovative is Altenew. So I told May over at Altenew that I wanted to do this live, and so they have a special offer for you guys that I'll share in a moment. But really, I started thinking about innovative products and why I like using them and just showing them. So even if these are things that you don't see yourself doing, something that you can kind of put on the back burner and think about in the future. You've seen all of these things, but I thought it'd be fun to kind of pull them all together in one live and share a bunch of them. So I have lots of things prepared here. All right. So again, I'm using mostly Altenew stuff today because when I thought about it, I feel like they've really been good about innovative. Lan, you're right. Innovation is the key to keeping our crafting industry going, and we need that. We've been really hurt by the knockoffs. The industry has been. So when these companies come up with new things, I think it's really a great thing. Even if you just want to stick to the basics, this is a great way. This is a great thing to keep our industry going. I'm nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm anxious. I don't know why. So I apologize. I hope that all made sense. Okay, so let me just tell you a few things. Mike, can you do the first image with the free gift? So Altenew said, when I told them that I was doing this, they said they could offer a great free gift. This is a really good one. This is the Perfect Picker. You'll see me use it today. It's got a wax tip on one end and a piercing tool on the other. It comes with lids on both sides, but I don't use them. But you can get this free with orders of $89 or more. And that's through, I think, Sunday. And what you got to do is add it to your cart. You got to use the link in the YouTube description below, add it to your cart, and then use the code. And if you do that, it'll show up free. So that is through Sunday, and that's exclusive to all of my friends here. I thought that was great. This is a great freebie. They said that this was one that they've been holding on for a special occasion to do this as a free gift, and I'm excited that it's today. So you'll see me use that today. I've mentioned many times having some type of pickup tool I think is really important in crafting, and you'll see that today. Okay, next up, Mike, there were a couple other images. Did you have any of those? It doesn't matter. Also, if you're over there shopping, I have linked below press plates and hot foil plates are up to 50% off. I'm going to use some that are on sale today. So that's a nice little perk if you use the Better Press, or even if you don't have the Better Press, you can use the press plates, and I'll demonstrate that today. So that is going on through, I guess, Saturday. Okay, and then the next one, this is just stuff, I'm always looking for ways for you guys to save. I've mentioned this once before. The Secret Garden is a virtual event that I'm part of in May, and I'm doing like an extra class for this. So there is an early bird offer, and that's in the YouTube description below. Also, there's free US shipping for US orders of $100 or more. I just wanted to share that, you know, these different ways to save, because, you know, we all need that. Hi, Dana. Okay, you can switch back, Mike. Thanks. So all of that information is in my YouTube description below, so you can find that. But the one thing that I always say at the beginning of my lives is that I try to prepare a page in advance. And it is linked at the top of my YouTube description, and I will put it in the chat right now. It is a link that has the word live in it. And so if you're watching when this video first goes up, you just click that and it'll open a new window. In that new window at the top are all the deals. And if you keep scrolling down, you'll see thumbnails of everything I'm using here. So that is like a really helpful thing, because the list below doesn't have everything and it's hard to find things. Having those thumbnails is really helpful. So I wanted to make sure that you could find that easily. So that's the link that I just put in the chat, and it's also in the top of the YouTube description. So I'm hoping that is helpful. Okay. I think that's it. I'm not sure if Brienne is here today. Is Brienne here today? Oh, and Mitzi is here from Altenew. She is one of the great organizers who keeps designers like myself up to date on all the cool things Altenew is doing, and I really appreciate that they do that. So Mitzi's here. If we have questions for Altenew, you can tag Altenew. All right, let's jump in. The first thing that I wanted to talk about is, let me just get an example one. So hold on, let me get it. I want to pull it up so that I don't say the wrong thing about it and what comes with it. So Altenew has different subscription kits and products that you can subscribe to, but you can also just buy it separately at like a slightly higher price. I've always said I think their subscriptions are really great. The one that I'm using today is the newest. It's Butterfly Garden. I know a lot of people have already used this in a video, so you're just going to see more examples, and I have some fun spins on it today. So this is a bundle. You get all of these things together. There is a stamp set with these really unique sentiments. There's an embossing folder. There is a die, and then there are layering stencils. And the cool thing about this is you do the layering stencils to create that background, which I think is beautiful, and then the die cuts them all out. So this is kind of like, this is a zero waste product. This is something that Altenew does that I think is really innovative. They have lots of different zero waste options, and I've used almost all of them in my videos. So the whole idea is that you create a background, you cut them all out, and you get all of those little elements, and you can even use the negative space. So there's like zero waste. If you want to see all the different zero waste options, if you go to my blog and search on zero waste, all the posts I've done with the different zero waste would show up. But this is the newest one, and I'm very excited about this because I am a big fan of the zero waste innovation, and I'm also a big fan of butterflies. Yes, this is beautiful. So I'm going to quickly do some stenciling to show you how I did it. I did some extras so that after I do the stenciling, I can show you a few different things you can do with it. Okay, so let's start with some stenciling. One of the things I like to do, one of the reasons I like to stencil in my lives is because it gives me a chance to answer questions while I'm stenciling. At least I try. At least I try. Yeah, you can't go wrong with butterflies. I feel like it's something that's nice for pretty much any occasion. Okay, let me find, I threw all my stencils out of order. Okay, so there are, I think, 5 stencils in this set. And what I want to show you, I'm hoping you can see it. Do you see there's like an etched, there you go. See the etched outline? See how, gosh, come on. Let me get my trusty blue paper. I always do this with blue paper. Hoping that shows it better. Okay, do you see how there's the bottom of the wings are an opening, but the top of the wings are an etched line? And it has that all over it. So what you can do is line up each layer. Okay, and it helps you to line it up. So you don't have to use any special tricks for it. I'm actually gonna start with stencil number 2 because it's the top of the wings and I don't know. That's what I wanted to do first. All right, so I'm starting with stencil number 1. I think you can kind of see, because I didn't really clean my stencils well, you can kind of see the etching. But I'm just gonna put this on a piece of white cardstock. I have these magnets that I use with my magnetic glass work surface. And that's just going to hold it in place for me. All right, so I'm not going to do a ton of, put a lot of effort into great blending and getting creative with my inking because I just want to save some time. But I will have an example for you in a moment that, let me see if I still have it, that shows like a really colorful version. I thought I did one, extra one, maybe not. Hang on, nope, okay. So let me just show you how it works, just so you can see how easy it is. I think layering stencils like this are another one of the things that I love that has been layering stencils have been around for a while, but I feel like they're getting more creative with it. One of the things I like is like when Altenew does the etched lines, so you can easily layer up each of the layers. Some of the layering stencils that are out there are for individual product or individual images, like a big flower. But then there are some that are like backgrounds, like this one. So I'm using some of my favorite blues. These are Altenew's Fresh Dye inks. I told you I'm anxious. There are 4 colors in a family. I don't have my stickers on these yet, but there's a light, medium, dark, and extra dark. And you can buy them together or separately. And I really like that it makes it easy to figure out which go together. For example, like for this stenciling, I think I'm gonna add a little bit of dark. Here I said I wasn't gonna do anything like creative, and I can't help it. So I'm gonna come in with a little Eastern blue. This is one of the most beautiful color blues ever. It's just gorgeous, I love it. So I'm going to put a little bit extra here. So the first brush I used is the Altenew large blending brush. I've used those for many years. They are great when you want to put down color very quickly, especially if you want a heavy amount of color. Now you can do lighter with it, but if you want to do like a blended background of, beautiful colors where you put down a lot of ink to do a technique, that's what you want to reach for. Then, of course, my most used brushes by far are the mini brushes from Altenew. Okay, so now that I did, that was actually stencil number 2. What I can do is take the etching, there's etching of the upper wing, and I line it up with the inking I've done. So I just line up the etching, and then basically I line up here, and I line up down here, because if those are lined up, I'm set. I know that they're all going to be lined up. So I'll put my magnets on here, and now I can do the bottom wings, and those are intended to be a little bit overlapped. I think I'll do this. So now I'm using the Eastern Sky, and look at that beautiful color. So these brushes are, I've used forever. This is my blue brush. I use it for all my blue inks. I don't have a bunch of these bigger ones. And I've never cleaned it. It just keeps on kicking.
Our friendly neighborhood link ninja is here.
Brienne is here. You all, I forgot. I think Monday was her birthday, and on Tuesday I forgot to mention it. So please say happy birthday to Brienne. Brienne is my superhero. She links stuff and helps me during a live. she also is the most encouraging human being. She always sends me the nicest messages, and she also helps Gina with her lives now. She's just a superhero to me. So please tell her happy birthday. Okay, so now I'm on to stencil number 3. And again, it's really easy to line up. Now I've got some inked areas that help me line up, but really I'm just using those etched lines. So I'm hoping, I know that Altenew does these with some of their stencils, and I'm hoping that they keep doing it with all of them because it makes that layering so much, makes it straightforward, I guess. And you don't have to worry about lining it up on your own. Okay, so that's stencil 3. Now there's stencil 4. Now this stencil has butterfly details and leaves. If you wanted to do the same color over the whole thing, you could do like a gold. That would be fun. But I want to do dark blue on my butterflies and green on my leaves. So I'm going to start with green on the leaves. I think I'll use, I'm going to use Mossy Meadow this time. There's a lot of good green options. Yes, Brianne's one of those people who can tell when you need like a positive text. You know, do you have people like that in your life? Yeah, Brianne's like that. She's just got this gift, God-given gift that she can sense things, I guess. So I'm using the smaller brush this time so that I can do selective inking. This is something that I really think is helpful in stepping up your layering stencils. But honestly, when you first get a layering stencil, I recommend just doing the same color over each of the stencils so you can kind of get to know it. Then you can do it again and really nail mixing different colors, you know, doing different things, different colors. Let's do this one. So I'm going with the darkest blue. This is the most beautiful color. This whole family, the Eastern Sky and this one are great. And then you'll see me use some Altenew Cardstock later, and the cardstock in the same color is just beautiful. So I'm kind of doing this heavy, like at the inside of the wings, and then kind of fade out. Good enough. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, Brianne is also one of the moderators over in my Facebook group. And those moderators really, really work hard to make sure that it stays a happy place, a positive place. We're a little over the top about it because we want people, anybody in the industry, designers, card makers and company owners to all be able to go there and feel welcome. We don't want them to come in and see somebody bashing their products or whatever. So I'm really particular about that, and I'm thankful for the moderators for handling it. All right, aren't these blues beautiful? I agree, I agree. Now, I think I'm gonna do...
Brianne have a little product too.
Oh, and Brianne is the creator of the inkstand, the inventor of the inkstand. They have a patent on it. That's this here, and I have 15% off code in my description below. Now this stencil does little dots and squigglies and the stems for the leaves and the body. So you could do different colors. Like here I did the bodies like a dark gray. I did the stems a dark green and the background light blue. But to save time, I'm just gonna do the same thing over all of it. So let me find a brush for this. I'm doing Lava Rock, which is like a dark, nice dark gray. Actually have some other ink still on here. Doesn't matter. So I'm going to do this dark gray. So it's going to look a little bit different, but I did some variations so you can see. Yeah, inkstand is, I always say, it's the tool you don't think you need until you have it, and you wonder how you ever lived without it. It's a helpful little tool. All right.
Made by ninjas.
Made by little ninjas. Okay, are there questions while I finish this one?
Here you go.
All right, do you have zero waste garden? Do you have the zero? I have all of the zero waste. I've used most of them in videos. Jennifer asked, does not cleaning your brushes risk contaminating between ink colors? I stay in the same color family. Like that brush that I was using before, I only use with blue inks, but I will use both light and dark blue with that brush. Does that make sense? So if I'm switching, like say I did a bunch of inking with dark blue ink and I want to switch to light blue, I just take the brush and just kind of rub it off onto a piece of scrap paper or onto my cloth, my dry cloth, and then I switch to the light color. So if you stay in color families, you don't have to worry about it. I just opened the fresh ink pads and they drag on the pads. And they drag on the pads when I try to get ink to
Drag on the pads when I try to get ink to
I'm not sure what that means. Laura Ann, ask your question again. I'm not really sure. I open the fresh dye inks and they drag on the pads when I try to get, you mean the pad moves around? If that's the case, I would check with Altenew because it shouldn't do that. Erica, thank you for the super chat. Okay, so I just did a quick inking and you can see how I was able to create that beautiful background. Isn't that fun? Now in this one, I did light blue for the little background, little doodads. And then I used green on this one for the little doodads. I kind of like this bold one. I think that's fun. So one of the things that I've been really loving that companies are really innovating about is how their stencils work. And this kind of layering stencil, especially on this one, I think you can see the etched lines really well. Can you see the etched lines there? Let me put it on. There we go, because I didn't clean it well. Do you see the etched lines? So you know how to line it up with what you've already stenciled. Does that make sense? So this again is the Butterfly Garden bundle. And this is the stencil set. So I did a few here. Now let me show you some things that you can do with this. Boop-a-doo. Where did the big die go? Here we go. Jennifer losing things. Don't laugh at me. Okay, now the nice thing about this is you can take this big die, and by the way, this big die you can cut from like blue cardstock and have lots of little butterflies in blue. You could do green cardstock and get little green leaves. You don't have to use the stencils with it. So that's another nice thing about it. But I'm going to use this to cut this out. But there are two techniques I want to show you. So I'm going to cut this in half. Okay, I'm cutting it in half so you can see two different techniques. I'm going to save these in case I want to do something else. So normally what you would do is line up, well, I'll just cut it all. See, you line it up and these two butterfly openings will line up with the stenciling that you did. Okay, we listen and we don't judge. Shannon, you're right. Gosh, that was so funny. That was Pam's idea and I just giggled. The ideas that we had, oh my goodness. We behaved much better in our video. Okay, so I'm lining this up the best I can. Kind of hard to do while everybody's watching. So the opening is the same size as the inked butterfly. So if you line those up and run it through, you'll be good. Now I got a new Empress die cut machine and the pressure is a little wonky. I have to reach out to them. So I'm hoping that this will cut okay. No, I didn't match my nails, but aren't they fun? They have little, can you see them? Snowflakes on them. I don't know. I bought all these cute like Christmas nails and then I got sick and I didn't get to wear them. So anyway, I thought I could still wear snowflakes. I'm hoping this cut all the way through. You know what? I don't know that it will because something's going on with my machine. I need to go back to my old machine. You can start to see these little dots are popping out. This might offset my die cutting, but it's worth a try. Okay. Now look at this. Ah! So see how you get all these butterflies and all these little stems. So there's tons of them here. Isn't that fun? This one's where it wasn't wanting to cut. So it gives you all of these elements, including these little doodads. Like, let me get some of the little doodads. So little doodads, little dots, little doodad. Look at those leaves and the butterflies. All right, so it's just a fun way to get a bunch of elements easily. Okay, so that is the zero waste, and there's more here. I'm just not popping them all out because I have other things to show you with it. Okay, so I'm going to take that and push it aside. Here, Mike, you can make a card with all the, with all the butterflies. Okay, I have another thing you can do with this. So far you can use your stenciled background alone. You could use the stencil background and the die and get all those individual butterflies, or you can use the die with solid cardstock and have solid colored butterflies. But another thing that you can do, let me think here. I'm gonna think. You can make an impression with a die. I think I'll use my Gina K machine. Now, most die cut machines come with a flexible embossing mat. I think Gina's sells separately, but I think most come with it. Kathy, I'm an anxious mess today. You need to come calm me down. Okay, so I thought, but I usually demonstrate this with the Spellbinders machine, but I thought I'd use my Intracut today. Now the Intracut has the dial on the side that allows you to switch between what you want to do. And I'm going to do letterpress. That's what it's called on here, is letterpress, but really it's pressing a die into cardstock. So we're not going to cut, we're just going to press and get a faux letterpress look. Now I really only want to do half. Let me think about this. Yeah, I'm going to do half. Doo-be-doo-doo. I'm cutting this in half just because I might want to do something else with it a little later. So, but I need this to line up. Hold on. So now I'm just holding this here. I should have kept this whole, but whatever. So I'm just lining it up. And then I'll take those butterfly windows and line them up with the stenciling that's already done. And I'm going to put tape over here so it doesn't shift. So I cut my paper in half because I might want to do something different with the other half later. So I'm going to slide this other half out. So what I have here is, I should have showed you, this is a flexible embossing mat. It's gray with the Spellbinders Platinum, but with hers, with Gina K's, it's black. So it's a flexible mat that allows you to make an impression, which sometimes is called letterpress and sometimes is also called dry embossing, just to confuse us all. But allows you to press a die into cardstock instead of cutting with it. So just follow your manufacturer's instructions for a sandwich. The nice thing about Gina's is you don't need to change the sandwich. You always use the same thing, you just change the dial on the side. Except for when you want to do this technique, you need that flexible mat in there. All right, so I'm going to put the top plate on and run this through. Mitzi, I get anxiety. I have anxiety. I just have anxiety, and sometimes I know why it kicks in and sometimes I don't. And this time I don't. In fact, I went to Pilates before. This usually helps me, but it didn't. I don't know. It just happens. It happens. It's who I am. Okay, so I made an impression with the die instead of cutting it. So if you look, see how it's kind of pillowy looking? The butterflies and leaves are kind of pillowy looking. If you look at the back, you can kind of see it too. No, it's not going to cut the mat because the mat is flexible. So the mat keeps the machine from cutting your paper and cutting the mat. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. So that's another way you can use these stencils that line up with the die. So let me show you some examples that I've done because you know me. I got to do all the things. So first of all, let's start with that one. So right here, I have a card that I made using that technique. So if you look at that butterfly area, see how it's got the pillowy look around it? That's the technique I just showed you. See that? So it adds some interest to it. And it was quick to do, right? Isn't that fun? Now let me show you the rest of this. I'll show you the gold frame in a moment, but let's do that background. This is another of the, as you could probably guess, one of the other innovative products that has been out for a while now that I think keeps getting better and better, and that is the Letterpress system from Spellbinders. It does require you to have the Letterpress system. However, we have since learned that you can use these, which are called press plates. Press plates are what's designed to work in the Letterpress. These work great in here, but we have also learned that you can foil with these press plates. So you can put them on your glimmer machine and foil with these. You can also make an impression, just like I showed you with this, which I can demonstrate in a moment. So there are many ways you can use this. Now I have linked in my description below at the bottom of all the supplies is a video showing the 3 different ways I like to use press plates, and 2 of them do not involve the Letterpress system. Now, I talk about how this is definitely the most innovative product that I've seen in a long time. I think since the Misty that I can't get enough of. Brianne just linked to an intro to using this. Now, I need to tell you that I have been using this more and more for 2 reasons. One, I really like it. The results are incredible, crisp, so good. Just so crisp you can't get with stamping. The other is, I know for a fact that more and more companies are gonna come out with press plates. So chances are your favorite company will come out with press plates. So the Letterpress system is from Spellbinders, but Altenew makes them. So this is the Spellbinders logo for the Letterpress, but Altenew makes these press plates. And it's a great kind of collaboration between the companies. So I know it's another system, but I'm telling you, I see more and more happening. Now, Renee asked about paper with this. They do make a Letterpress paper, and it's a soft cotton thick paper. And when you do the Letterpress with that paper, it gives you a faux letterpress look. It presses into the paper, leaving ink behind, giving you texture. Now, I ran out of that Letterpress paper. I need to get some more. You can also use watercolor paper because that's soft and thick, and that'll give you a bit of like that letterpress look where it's kind of pressed down into it. But honestly, most of the time I use my Letterpress system, I use regular cardstock because I'm looking for a crisp image. You do get a little bit of that pressed in look, but what I like it most for is with regular cardstock and just get a crisp look, which I can demonstrate right now. Okay, so this is Terrazzo. Is that how you say it? Terrazzo? Let's say that's it. By the way, you can use the Letterpress system with Gina K Intercut. I'm just switching it up to change things so you can see it works with a lot of things. You just follow the letterpress style. Okay, so this is the Letterpress system. I tape a piece of clear plastic on here, just some packaging, so I don't have to clean my Letterpress. The ink wipes off that clear piece very easily. So you take your press plate, and you can tell it's a press plate because it has like this dull silver. It's not like bright silver like a die. See how that's different? Dies are shiny. This is like a dull. And so you know it's a press plate. All right, so I'm gonna put that in that little tick mark area in the center, right there in the center. And then I'll put my cardstock in the center too. Let's use white for the example. Now remember, this press plate you could use with your glimmer machine to foil. And I'll show you how to make an impression too. I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna use aquamarine. Now, as far as inks, Spellbinders does sell inks for the Letterpress system. The nice thing about their inks is that they're smaller. And so you can get into little areas better and not make as much of a mess, you know, for smaller press plates. Ink cubes are good for it too. I haven't found an ink that doesn't work. I do find that Altenew fresh dye inks work really well because it's a little bit of a juicier ink and it just seems to work well. And the nice thing about this technique is it's foolproof. So I ink that up. It's not even, that's okay. I'm gonna take the cardstock that I've taped here and it pops onto these magnets. And so the paper's kind of floating over the inked press plate. But when you put it through your platinum machine or your Intercut, I think it also works with the Sizzix machine, but I don't have that. It pushes those plates together and gives, transfers the ink and makes an impression. Look at that. You see that detail? That's detail you couldn't get with stamping. Does that make sense? I just think that's beautiful. So that is, this one's the Terrazzo. I think I use it later too. Maybe not. I'm just using a baby wipe to clean it. I don't know. It seems to work just fine. I usually have a wet cloth to do that, but I don't have one right now. And this is a magnetic platform, so I use a magnet to pick up my plate. I don't know, it seems easy to do. Okay, so that is the Letterpress system. I'm gonna do more techniques with this later on because I think there are so many things you can do with it. And what I'm doing later on, I haven't done in a video, so I'm hoping that it inspires you. Now, let me just show you some others here. This one I did the same plate, but I used iceberg ink for that, so it's a little bit lighter. And here, this is one of the Altenew Cardstock colors. This is one of my favorites. These two are my favorite Altenew Cardstock colors. I used ultramarine here. So I did ultramarine cardstock, and then I used the slightly darker azurite ink and just did the same process. So Altenew cardstock is a little lighter weight. It's like 80 or 90 pounds, and you can still see that you get crisp results with a tiny impression. And I like that tone-on-tone little look in the background. Super fun. And then, so you can just use it to look kind of like a stamp background, right? But you can also use it on your foil machine, and you can also use it with your die cut machine, which I'll demonstrate now. So that's what I did on the background there, okay? So that is the ultramarine blue color. I love that color. You'll see more of the Altenew colors later. Altenew cardstock, I find, has unique colors. I don't know if they had them custom made, but if you've ever gotten cardstock from different companies, you'll see sometimes there's overlap where like two companies have colors that are the same, just different names. I really find that Altenew has some really unique colors, and I'm wondering, maybe they did custom colors, I don't know, but you'll see some of those later. But these two blues are my favorites. I love them. Anyway, so that's why I use blues today. Now let me show you, while we're here with the Letterpress, let me show you that, so I just showed you how to use this with the Letterpress system. You can also use it with a glimmer machine and foil. I'm not going to demonstrate that today. But here's the other thing you can do. And that video where I talk about, where I show the 3 different ways to use this, to use press plates, I'd show more of this, okay? But I'm just going to show this right now. So I have, this time I'm using the Spellbinders Platinum, and I'm following the instructions to make an impression or dry emboss with a die. And again, anytime you want to use your machine to make an impression, you need that flexible mat in there so that it won't cut, okay? So I've got that flexible mat. I'm just following the instructions. My hair is everywhere. I'm following the instructions on making an impression or dry embossing with a die, just like I did when I did this piece. It's the same sandwich I did for this. But this time, instead of using a die, I'm using a press plate, okay? Brienne just put a link to 5 ways to use press plates. I forget what the other 2 ways are. Yeah, so watch that video. Maybe I need to watch my videos. Now you could miss this. I am losing my hair. You could miss this with water if you wanted to, but I'm lazy. So I'm going to take my press plate and just put it on top. Remember, there's a flexible mat under here, and run it through like I would do making an impression with a die, but this time I'm using a press plate. All right. Michelle, I have Mike is diabetic. He's type 1 diabetic, so I keep an eye on that. All right, look at that. Look at that. Look how cool that is. Can you see how cool that is? So that is using a press plate without the Letterpress system. So I'm using it with what came with my Spellbinders machine, that flexible mat. You could also put ink on this, carefully lay it down and run it through, and it would leave ink behind. But I just love that texture. It looks like an embossing folder. So there's press plates don't have to be used with just the Letterpress system. And I have found these detail press plates work really well. They actually foil better than some foil plates. So you'll see a lot of companies are going to stop making foil plates and only make press plates because it works with foil too. And I think Altenew is one of them. All right. So that's another way you can use it. I'm going to save this for later because that turned out so pretty. So on this, let me just show you this card. I have a couple other cards with these butterflies to show too. But on this one, I used in that rectangle again, this where I made the impression with the big die. I used that inside of the rectangle. And then let me show you the sentiment. See, I keep all these because, you know, you got them ready. I just wasn't sure which one I'd like behind here, but I love that bold. Joanne, the special with Altenew right now is you get a free picker, which I'll show you, picker tool, which I'll show you later, in use later, free with, I think, $89. But also press plates are on sale. I don't know if this one's on sale. Let's see. No, because this one's new, but one I'll be using later is on sale, and I'll talk about those. This is one of the newer ones. So they don't have the newer ones on sale, but all the other ones are. Yes, I find that I foil more with the press plates than I did with foil plates. I find they foil better, especially with detailed ones. Okay, so let me see here. This frame is part of a set from Kristina Werner. I use it a lot. Let me see what it's called. It's in the link list. Let's pull up the link list. It came out from Kristina a while ago. I think it was in her new release. It's called A7 Thin Frames. She also has A2. So like the A7 comes with, I gotta find the other one. Hang on, please. So here is the A7 and here is the A2. And they also come with some word dies. I have the A7 linked below, but why I use these so much is I love creating a thin frame. But I don't know about you, but sometimes when my pressure's too much in my machine, it causes the die to kind of warp a little bit, or you get like a curved edge. It's slight, but it drives me crazy. So like a curved edge, if a die is too thin and big. So what Kristina did is she added this extra metal around the outside to keep it from doing that. So you'll end up with a perfect thin frame with this. And that's what I used. I used this one here. I think this is from the A2 for that gold frame. Isn't that cool? And I'll use one of these in a moment, so you'll see it in action. Let me set that aside so I can find it. As for the sentiment on this one, I love this sentiment. I really like doing just because and hugs and things like that because you can use it for a lot of different occasions. You see me use them a lot. And this one has hugs, just because, and with kindness, which I am a big fan of. That's it. Betsy said, yes, the thin ones can bow out and be a little less precise. Betsy, you need to be here to talk sense to my nonsense. Hi, Sika. Sika, I've been wanting these too. Okay, so this is the flowering Quince. I don't know. I never can pronounce these things. I went to engineering school because I'm terrible with words. The number of times people email me saying that I say things wrong, I can solve a math problem though. Does that count? Anyway, this is the Flowering Quince bundle. Well, there's different ones that you can do. Let me look at it so I don't say it wrong. This is one of that you could get by subscription and then you save. But this, you can also buy it separately. So this is the Flowering Quince. You have the stamp set, which I'll use the stamp later. There's the stencils that color it in. And then there's an add-on die set. So I'll use this big flower later, but I use the Just Because here. And isn't that sweet? I just did black and white. Linda, yes. Linda asked, do I, like when I cut a frame, do I keep that center? I absolutely do. I have them right here in the drawer. You can see some of my centers from those frames that I've been using. So no, I never let that go to waste. So Just Because is from the Flowering Quince, and I'll be using some of these others in other examples today. All right. Okay, another butterfly one. Let's do another one. Let's do this one. Why not? So yesterday, I used the same Butterfly Garden layering stencils to create this background. What I did, you know, Karen, what somebody said, they didn't correct my pronunciation. I say apparently a lot, very unique. And there's somebody who tells me every time that is the very in front of unique is not necessary. I'm sure she's right and I'm wrong, but you know, we all have our strengths and that is definitely not one of mine. Okay, so I did the stencils off screen, but instead of doing all the butterflies blue or the same color, I did different butterflies, different colors. So I used a small blending brush so I could do different colors. And then for the stencil that adds the doodads in the background, I use a gold pigment ink. So I have a little bit of shine on there. All right, so I did the same process, but I did this butterfly pink, this one blue, or orange, yellow, okay? I really like that background. Now, let me show you what I've planned for this card. I have no idea if it's right. No, she was very nice about it. She wasn't being rude. I am not good at that stuff. I don't know. The way I think about it is, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I trimmed this background down to be 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. Then I also created this little folded piece of vellum. I did this to save time so I could show you more things. On here, I used the Butterfly Garden stamp set. These are all in the same bundle. I use that hello. I love the style of these. I thought about just doing the hello directly on the background, but I didn't want it to get lost. So I thought doing it on vellum would be fun. So I have a folded piece of vellum here. I think it is 3.5 by 3. Yes, 3.5 by 3. Okay. The sentiment, I heat embossed with a black glitter embossing powder, and the glitter is not picking up. Stinker. I used Ranger Black Sparkle. You can see there's some sparkle in there. You could, use plain black if you wanted to, or you could use gold, but I thought that was fun. I hadn't used it in a while. I like the font too. Isn't that beautiful? So I thought this would be fun. Let's think here. Now I got to think. Okay, so this is it. So this is from, I believe this is from the A7. Yep, this is from Kristina's A7 frame die set. It's linked below. I want to put a little gold frame around the edges here. So I have here Altenew double-sided adhesive sheet. Can you add that to the supply list? Altenew double-sided adhesive sheet is one of my most used products. And I always tell you when it's on sale because I know because I order a lot. I always order a lot on Black Friday. I love this stuff. Hi, Shari. Yeah, I use extra words to make up for the fact I don't know what I'm saying. So I put the double-sided adhesive on the back of a piece of Altenew brushed gold cardstock. I really like their brushed gold because it's a little bit less shiny, a little less ostentatious, and it looks nice with the gold metallic ink. So I am going to cut. I only need part of it. So I'm just going to do bigger so I'll have leftover space. I'm going to cut. The adhesive's on the back. So this will cut through the adhesive and I'll end up with a frame sticker. And I really like to use double-sided adhesive when I have intricate die cuts because then I don't have to worry about getting glue on the back of it just right. So this is, let's get that little, here's my little picker, which is free right now. And I use it to pop through the little holes to get my die cuts out. So there we have our thin frame. And this piece here has adhesive on the back. I'm saving that. I'll actually save this because I could cut little thin strips from it. I'm a saver. I'm a saver. Okay. I just don't show it in videos much. All right. So I've got this. It's got the sticker on the back. Pull off the release paper. And this one, I'm going to put right along the edge of the front. So I'm going to put the corner up here. Now, one of the nice things about this, the double-sided adhesive, is you do have wiggle room time. Sorry if my head gets in the way. You do have wiggle room time. You can press it down lightly to make sure you get it where you want it. And then once you have it in place, you can press down firmly with a bone folder or your fingers to really make it secure. So that looks good to me. So I'm going to come in with a bone folder and just press that down. So now the vellum on the front has a nice gold frame, which I just think is nice. All right. Here we go. Let's cut this off. You know, here's the way I look at it. I guess if I was watching a video and somebody did like math problem wrong, I would tell them nicely so that they'd know, but I think everybody would probably catch it. I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. So I made that gold frame using the Kristina frame dies, which are linked in the description. I just thought that gave it a little nice definition, and I want it to kind of hang over here. So this can be a weird trifold card. We're going to see if it works. This is a side folding A2 note card. So it's 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to rotate this. Watch, I'm going to rotate it so it opens backwards. So the opening is on the left. Then I'm going to cover the front with this stenciled piece so that the entire front of the note card is covered with the stenciling and it opens backwards. Who knows? This may not look good. We're going to try it. Now on this here, on the inside of this folded vellum, I put adhesive, and I'm going to tuck the open end into it. So it kind of wraps around the front like that. There we go. And then I have another piece of plain cardstock here just to put on the back to kind of sandwich that vellum in. Let's see. There we go. Hi, Lila. How was school?
Good. Can I say hi?
If you want to.
Dog's eating.
Okay, thank you. All right. So here, Lila wants to say hi.
Hi.
There we are.
She's
Where's the
tall.
camera? There it is. Hi.
She is almost as tall as me. I have heels or slippers on. Look at that. I think I'm shrinking. Anyway. All right, so this now opens like that. I just thought that was fun, something different. You could just glue that there if you wanted to. There we go. You can just say hi.
Hi.
You don't have to come on the camera.
He doesn't want to.
He doesn't want to.
No, he doesn't want to.
All right, there you go.
Kinda like me.
So isn't that fun? I just thought that was something different. And then I've got these little butterflies here. Maybe
It goes well.
Thanks.
Bye.
Are you leaving?
Yeah.
When's the dinner?
I'm not leaving yet.
Oh,
In
okay.
About a half hour.
Okay, have fun.
I just came down and say hello.
Okay.
If you told me I should.
Oh, thanks. Well, I just wanted to see you. I haven't seen you. Okay. I'm one of those people who still likes their husband. I don't know why. Even though, you know, Okay, here we go. Little butterfly. I put some liquid adhesive on the back. I'm going to put him right there. So he's kind of swinging there. Can you scroll it, Mike? And then I've got some little blingies. I'm going to use my knife for this. I like to use my knife. This always freaks out Brienne. She doesn't like when I use my knife. She's afraid I'm going to stab myself. Let's see. But I don't. I really like these gems from Altenew. I don't know if I think they're called gem sparkles. I'm not sure if I linked them. But they are like taller and more faceted than most gems, so you get a ton of sparkle. And they have adhesive on the back. They have them in different colors and such, but the silver and gold pack is really quite nice.
What was it again?
Gem sparkles should be in my link deli. There we go. I think that's good. There we go. So this is how this card opens. There we go. How do I mail cards with gems like this? These particular ones are pretty thick, which makes them shine more. I mean, you can see how it catches the light really nicely. So these are a little bit thicker than most. So this one I would probably use a padded envelope, but or put a piece of padding in the envelope on this side of the card. Does that make sense? I've done that. I've shown that in a video in the past.
A non-machine.
Yes, and you have to tell, let me turn this on. How come this isn't on? Mike, can you figure this out? It might not be plugged in. Oh, he left me. I need a fan. You have to go up to the post office worker and ask them to hand cancel it. So you got to pay a little extra so it doesn't go through a machine, for sure. I do hope to use JC's line. Somebody asked that. I do hope to use it. All right, so there you go. So this was all with that Butterfly Garden bundle, except I used a frame from Kristina. Now, I did another panel with these colors, and I used the die to cut them out, just like I demonstrated earlier. And I have all these butterflies here. And I made a completed card to show you. Hang on, I don't know why that's not working. I made a completed card to show you. Let's see if I can find it here. Using some of these little butterflies. And I used the embossing folder that comes in that bundle. I'm kind of showing you all the different things you can do with the bundle because it just, I feel that's the best way to really stretch your supply. So even if you don't have this bundle, look at what you have in your stash and think of different ways you can use that. That's the more you see things stretched, like the more times you see me stretch supplies and use as much as I can, it kind of becomes easier for you to go and stretch whatever supplies you have. Okay, so I created this card here, and I'm going to show you how I made it. Now this one, I'll show you the background in a moment, but I did the butterflies like I showed you before. I stenciled all the butterflies and used the die to cut them all out at once. But I wanted to show you how I did this background. So that With Kindness, by the way, is from that Quince stamp set. That is the Flowering Quince, remember? So I used With Kindness here before I used Just Because. Pauline, I don't think you can't order these separately. This is one of the unique times where it's like a bundle. Usually you have a choice on certain things, but they have these bundles because they work so well together. So in this one you have the die, the stencils, the stamp set, and the embossing folder. But let me show you how to use what I did with this embossing folder, just to make it a little bit different. Let's go back to the Intricut. So I have the Intricut here. This is a 3D embossing folder, so I'm going to switch to 3D. And hopefully this will work. Okay. Sometimes I get mixed up switching between different die cut machines doing different things, but usually you only have one, so you just need to learn it for your one. Okay, so I have a piece of white cardstock here. I'm just putting a little bit of tape runner in 2 spots on the back, and I'm laying it inside of my embossing folder. I'm going to put it on the side that doesn't have the text on the back. So this is the side where the leaves are raised. And I'm going to lay that in there and kind of press that glue down. Doesn't really have to stick much. Now this is in the way. Hang on. One of the nice things about the Intracut is it suctions when you open it. So I got to close it to undo the suction. Okay, I just need some more room. So I'm first going to take this with that cardstock in there. Close this up. Hi, Jana. Good to see you. And I'm running this through my Intracut with the 3D emboss dial. All right. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I ran that through, and look how beautiful that impression is. Gorgeous, right? We're going to step that up. I prefer to use a light ink for this technique, but you can try it with whatever you want. I've demonstrated this before, but it worked really well with this particular one. So this side of the folder, okay, this side where I put my cardstock, the image is raised. Like all those leaves is raised. I can feel them. The leaves are raised. On this side, the background's raised and the leaves are pressed in. So on this side, I'm going to take a light color of ink. This one's called Polar Bear. And I'm just going to smear it all over the background. I like to dab and kind of go back and forth. This is a very light color ink. So I'm going to have to do it a few times because I chose a light color. Closing it up, and I'll run it through again. So the reason I put that little bit of adhesive on the back is to hold it in place so the cardstock doesn't shift as I do this multiple times. All right, now you can see the colors starting to go, but remember this, let me show you how light this is. I'll do it on the back of this. I mean, this is super, see, it's very, very light. I wanted something light. So let's do it again. Now for my background, I think I did it 4 times. So I'm only going to do it a few times here. Maybe I'll step up to a darker color so you can see, but I wanted something super soft, and I'll just keep doing this. Now, if you did this with a darker ink, I do recommend still doing it once or twice, or do it 2 or 3 times, because it'll smooth it out more. All right. Joe, you cannot purchase the Secret Garden bundle without the retreat, but the cost is worth it. Does it make sense? It's full of product. They have a video that shows what product is in it, and it's really good. It is definitely my favorite of all the Secret Gardens because they asked for our input. And so all the designers got to give some ideas. So we got some really unique stuff. I know I'm missing a lot of questions here. I'm trying my best. All right, so I did it a few times, and can you see how the background is colored and the raised is white? So I did it, I think 4 times, and look at how it looks on there. So it makes your embossing stand out more. Isn't that gorgeous? Now here's one I did with a darker color. This is Dewdrop, and you can see it works great with that too. I felt like this was too bright on this card, so I wanted that really subtle color. Connie's here, the winner. Connie, Mike, will you put my help email in there? Tag Connie on it. Connie, we're going to give you the email, okay? We've been trying to get a hold of you. Okay, so you can do darker color. It is like Wedgwood. You're right. But I really like that soft. And Altenew has a lot of these soft colors because remember their inks come in the light, medium, dark, and extra dark. So that really light, that first one is great for this technique. All right. Yay. Yeah, so the oval inks that Altenew had for a long time, they're very similar ink to what's in this, but I find this one is, the fresh dye inks is a little more viscous, a little more juicy. I guess, like thicker. So I find that you can cover stamps better, you can ink blend better, and you can do techniques like this better. And I also like that the lids screw on because I drop them all the time. So I really like it. So there you go. There's a technique you can do with your embossing folder. So another product that I really am enjoying that companies are getting really innovative with is 3D embossing folders. It allows you to give beautiful detail. And Altenew has many stencil sets that line up with a folder. So you can like stencil a background and then put it in the folder and emboss that pattern so it stands out. Does that make sense? They have lots of those. I've done them many times in videos, but today I'm just doing the soft butterfly garden background. So this one's part of the bundle too. I see Neenah from Waffle Flower is here. So Neenah from Waffle Flower, she's owner Waffle Flower. May, who is like the marketing person, I guess her role is at Altenew. And then Yana, who's with Spellbinders, they do like a monthly video, like a Zoom call where they craft together. And I've gotten to do it before. I'm just usually not home because it's on a Saturday. But I love when the companies are friends. They truly are friends. Okay, so I ended up gluing these butterflies so that the wings stick off the side. I like doing that because it just gives such interesting look. So this is an A2 card, but I'll just mail it in a 5x7 envelope. It'll be just fine. The postage for a 5x7 envelope is the same as if it were an A2 envelope. Think about it. Hallmark cards are mostly 5x7 and it just takes regular postage. Hi, Barb. Yes, the technique I just did works great for 2D folders too. Doesn't have to be 3D. I'm just really digging the 3D because of all that realistic texture that you get. All right, so that is the butterfly garden. When I saw it, I knew I was gonna have to use it. I didn't get to use it last week because I was just behind as can be, but that's all right. And again, Altenew has other zero waste. They have a floral zero waste that I've used before. They have some zero waste that don't have a die to go with them. It's just, or that don't have the stencils to go with it. So it's just the die. It's nice that there's different options. Why did my ink puddle up? Catherine said, why did my ink puddle up? I think she was talking about the technique I was just showing. The inside of an embossing folder really isn't meant to take ink, right? So I find if you do it a few times, it kind of preps the embossing folder to transfer the ink better. Another thing you can do is put a little bit of Versamark ink onto the inside of the embossing folder first to make it a little sticky, and then put your dye ink on top. That sometimes helps. But I find that if you run it through a few times, that splotchiness will go away. What prevents cracking of paper with the 3D embossing folder, Darlene asks. What you want to do for when you use a 3D embossing folder, most of the time, I'm just lazy, I spray the back of my cardstock a few times with water and then run it through, and that'll keep it from cracking. You can actually miss both sides. Okay, let me think about what's next. I don't even remember. Oh, I just have a quick one I wanted to show you. Along with this zero waste idea, this one I did off screen, and I just wanted to show it to you because I think it's adorable. This is the Sugar Rush. There are layering stencils, and there is a zero waste die to cut it out. Okay, so here you have the layering stencils, and I just followed the color combo that comes in it. This is another thing that is really innovative that Altenew does, is they include this in the packaging. So in it, they have card example. If it's a bigger stamp set, it has multiple card examples, and it has a guide on how to layer, which is always helpful. So for mine, I just followed the same colors they did, which was great. Now, here's a little tip that you may not know. You can actually, these examples in the packaging, you can cut them out. They are A2 size. You can cut them out and glue them on the front of a card. If you didn't know. Or sometimes it helps with placement. You can cut it out and put it underneath something. Anyway, but I like the example. So I have this in there. Then you can either buy it separately or together, there is the Sugar Rush die. And all you have to do is line it up and cut it out. Leanne, yes, this was probably the same one you got at their in retreat. All right, so I did the stenciling. Isn't this the sweetest thing? Now, I could line this up. See how it just lines right up and it'll cut it out? But I'm thinking I'm gonna leave this background whole because I like it. One thing you could do is line it up, cut all the pieces out, then the negative space, glue that to the front of the card, and then pop each of those in place. And it will give you a fun background. But I think I'm gonna keep mine whole. Just know you could cut this out, okay? The sentiment that I was gonna use on this, somebody asked if I made a card. I haven't made a card with this yet. What I think I'm gonna do is just cut it to a solid background and put a sentiment on it. I might mist it with a little glitter spray, so there's some sparkle. Another thing I could do is cut it out, then glue the negative space onto my card and pop in each of the pieces like puzzle piece, but only pop up a few with little pop dots. But the sentiment I was gonna use, I can't find, and it's driving me crazy. Mike's got an image of it. Can you show the apple blossom? Because in that set, I can't find it. It's driving me crazy. In that set, at the top, see it says, "You are so sweet." I've used it in a video before. "You are so sweet." That is a press plate set. Press plate sentiments are fantastic because they're always crisp. You never get like that splotchy letter. So you could do "You are sweet" with the press plate there, use the coordinating die to cut it out, and that "You are sweet" would look great on here. And by the way, that bundle right there is 45% off right now. So that bundle is 45% off because they're having a press plate sale. And so I wanted to use that sentiment on there because it's on sale. And I just can't find it. I've used that apple blossom bundle before in a video. So I just wanted to, Mike and I started reorganizing my supplies, and I used to have all my stamps together but divided by company. All my stencils together but divided by company. And he went through and switched it so all of my Altenew is together. So all the stamps are there, all the Altenew dies are there, all the Altenew stencils are there. But I haven't gone through and organized that new collection into different things, and I couldn't find it. And I realize I'm talking with my hands, I'm sorry. So I just wanted to show you this. This is that same innovative, and this also has the etching on the stencils so that you can easily line it up with the inking that you've already done. You can see the etching there. So it makes it easy to line each of them up. All right, so that's something just really innovative. A lot of companies are doing these layering stencils. I love that etching, and I love the die that cuts them all out. So there you go. And if I find my blossoming apple, I'll do the sentiment. But there you go. All right, so that's all about layering stencils, the zero waste dies. Now let's do, what time is it? Oh, crud.
I think somebody got it in a crafty goodie box, actually.
I don't know. Let's do this next one. This one, when I saw this die set, I was tickled because I thought this is a really clever, innovative product. One of the things I like about Altenew's die sets is they have that keyhole system. And this one has keyhole system, but I have better examples that I'm going to show later, and I'll show you how to use your keyhole system with your press plates. So stay for that, because that's going to be fun. This one's quick. I saw this and I loved this set. It's the Houseplants die set. So this is just a die set. If you sign up for their Creative Cuts subscription, you get a different die set monthly, and they're at a better price, and there's some other perks. But you can also just buy this for a little bit more individually. But it does have the keyhole. But what I was excited about with this is I have a lot of florals that just you sit a floral on a card. I like that this had this pot, and you can do a hanging pot or like a standing pot. And it's just something different. I love the look of this hanging pot. In fact, I have done cards in the past where I did a hanging pot a long time ago with a sentiment that I got from a Monkey Hero Art stamp set that says, hang in there. And it works with this. But anyways, I like this, and I also like that the word hugs and the shadow die is included. Now let me just show you, I started putting this together, and I used some Altenew cardstocks. Let's see the yellows that I used. The yellows I used would be Sunkissed, Chamomile,
Oh my gosh.
and Pumpkin Pie. I told you. The butterfly stencil set is part of a bundle, Deborah, and it's in the list below. It's the Butterfly Garden Bundle, I think it was called. So I use those colors, and for the greens I use Parrot and I don't have all my swatches on here. We discovered Parrot and Bamboo. All right, so, and then these blues, I told you they have great blues, right? I used the bright ones before. Now I'm using these kind of moody, dusty ones.
The Craft Your Life kit butterfly.
Huh? Yeah,
The Craft Your Life kit.
so for this I used Cloudy Sky, and then on my background I'll use Dark Night. So these match their inks. Oh, Brienne found the Hang in There Monkey video. Oh my gosh, she's too good. Okay, so I made a little pot off screen. That sounds terrible. I made a hanging planter off screen. But I wanted to show you some things with this, okay? I'll tell you how it all comes together. So I have my the pieces for the pot, or the planter, I should say planter. Aren't those dusty blues great, or blue colors great? They're beautiful. Let me do this. Get a scrap of paper, dig it in my trash. Okay, so on this one, I think I will take Misty Morning, which is a beautiful misty blue color. And I'm gonna add, I wanna make this a little bit darker. So I'm putting some of the ink directly on it because I want to do this. So it's dark showing through. See how that goes, dark showing through? And it's easier than cutting another piece of cardstock. There we go. All right, now watch this, this is fun. Here we have the misting more, you know what, I should have done darker. Hang please, overthinking in process. I'm gonna use the Dark Night. Make that darker, there we go. Now let me glue that on there. And these inks will kind of soften and smooth out as they dry, like many dye inks do. Okay, so there we have that layered together. Now watch this. I'm gonna take the Misty Morning and just rub it on top, and it helps, you can kind of see the pattern showing. So glue that on. And then on this one, I'm gonna go try to go really light-handed. There we go. So these dies make little impressions, like little detail impressions. This isn't gonna wanna stick because it's wet, but let me just show you. And because it makes impressions, when I drag my ink pad on it, the ink doesn't go into the impressions. So it gives you that detail look. Isn't that fun? So that's one of the advantages of going direct to paper, is when you go direct to paper on a cardstock where there's details like this impressed into it, the ink only goes on the raised area. If I used a brush, it would go into the little crevices too. I just thought that was fun. Okay. Anyway, I didn't do that on this pot here because I didn't think of it at the time, but I wanted to show you that. All right, so let me close these up before I get inky. Okay. All right, so there's the pot. And I want to show you the planter, how easy this is. Now, this isn't going to want to stick because it's wet, but what you can do is just put some glue on the back, this big die cut, and you just put it right on there. And look at that. All you need to do is add some flowers or not, and you have a planter. Now, I added some of these longer die cuts here. You can see these die cuts here. I added those to hang in the back. So I glued those behind it. So it's kind of coming down in the back. But you could just use the one. I mean, right here, I think this is great, but I wanted it to be more full. But right there, I think that's fantastic. Then you have the hanger die, which you can just hang on the top, or you could put this like on a shelf, make it look like it's sitting on a shelf. but here's the little hanger that you can just glue so it hangs. They also have some dies in here that do like ones that don't hang. So if you want this to sit, you could have that sticking off the top. Yes, a brayer would do great instead of direct to paper. That would work great too. All right, so then you can add little flowers. So that's what I did here. I put one of these down and then I added some of the extras. Now I did little flowers here, but let me show you the flower, the keyhole part that this comes with. So the keyhole system that Altenew has, super innovative, the best thing ever, is it helps you to layer your die cuts together to create a layered image that isn't hard to put together. And you're going to see that in my next examples. This is just a quick example. So this die here cuts petals. And when you look at the petal, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see in the video. When you look at the petal, or look at the flower petals, there is a hole at the center. And this is a keyhole shape. This actually looks kind of like a snowman shape. And each one has a snowman shape in the center. This one has a 1 engraved in it. This one has a 3 engraved in it. And this one has a 2 engraved in it. So I know if I start with 1 on the bottom and work my way up to 3 at the top, lining up those holes, my flower will be assembled with very little thought. So let me do that. I'm starting with 1. And what I like to do is just put the liquid adhesive around the keyhole shape. So I have liquid adhesive around the keyhole shape. Then I take the next one, which is number 2, and I line up the hole. So you want to make sure that you can look through and see that hole. Then, in that denim colored pretty, then the third one, it's got the little 3 engraved on it. I glue that on. And there we have, I know how to line up my, there we go. I know how to layer those layers together because that keyhole shape, if I line it up every time, it'll be fine. So now there's the center too. I'm going to use my picker because this is the great thing about the picker. I can pick up my little die cut here. Actually, there's double-sided adhesive on the back of this. And I line up that little keyhole. I actually use the piercing end a lot. Let me rotate it. I got it wrong. I use the piercing end a lot to make sure I'm lining it up. I kind of run the piercing end through the hole to make sure it's all lined up. Then they always have a solid die cut to go on top that covers the hole so people don't see the hole. So I glue that on top. And there we have our little flower. Okay, so I created this planter off screen, and I'm going to glue that guy right here in the center. So you can see my final pot. Yep, you got thrillers, pillars, and spillers. That's how I do pots. The pillars are the things that stick up high. The fillers are the things that kind of, I said it wrong. There's the pillars, which stick up high, which are these. The fillers, which is anything right there at the top of the pot. And then the spillers, which are the things that hang down. That's what I do in my flower garden, and I do it on here too. So there is my little planter. Now, I'm going to turn this into a card, but first I need to do my background. This is another innovative tool that I've really enjoyed using, and that is the Altenew Stampwheel. It's a great stamp positioner that allows you to easily do different techniques or just do stamp positioning. So I'm just going to show you very simply. I'm going to eyeball. I have a grid on my other stamp wheel, but this is my newer stamp wheel. Eyeball and put this Dark Night cardstock right there, kind of at the center of my cardstock. Now, I got to find that stamp I told you I was going to use. Here it is. This is from that Flowering Quince, I think it's called, where I use the sentiments. I'm going to use this Big Mama stamp. And this is one of the easiest ways to do a stamped background. Yeah, pillars or thrillers, you can call it either. And I'm going to put this kind of like at an angle at the top. I then take my plate here and peel that up. Then I'll flip it over. And I want this to be like a tone-on-tone look. I'll get my Dark Night card ink here. White would be pretty too. I'm going to do Dark Night. White would be pretty too. I'm going to ink this up. So this is going to be tone on tone. It'll be very subtle. and then I flip it over, pop it in, and give it some pressure. Okay, so now I have that image up there in the top corner. You see it? All right, now I'm going to ink up again. And this is the nice thing about the stamp wheel. This is super easy to do. My cardstock stays where it is, but instead of stamping it this way again with the hole at the top, I'm going to rotate so the hole is at the bottom. See, there's a little hole at the top of my plate. I'm going to rotate it. The hole's at the bottom and press down. So before I stamped up there, now I'm stamping down here, kind of like a mirror image. All right, so there we go. Get this guy out of here. I like to use my picker for this. And look at that. You get a tone-on-tone stamped background. So if you don't have a background stamp that you want to use, or you want to get more use out of your big images like this, use it to create a background. You don't have to color these big images like this. You could definitely just use them for tone-on-tone backgrounds. Do you mind wiping off that mat in there so it doesn't dry? Thank you. Now, I did that same thing here. You can see it. I did it really subtle. I trimmed that down and added it to white note card. Now, I'm going to show you how to make this swing. I did add the hugs. That's also in this Houseplants die set. Doopy-doo. Hang on. Okay. And I'm going to make this swing. So I have little die cut or little foam circles here, but I need it to be smaller. So I'm going to cut so it's super tiny, super duper tiny. Now, off screen, I would put a dot of liquid adhesive because this is super tiny. I want to make sure it holds, and this is the only thing that's going to hold this to our card. But to save time here so it doesn't have to dry, I'm just going to stick it down. But I would put liquid adhesive behind there. Put this little foam circle right there at the top, or foam shape. It's tiny. It doesn't matter what shape it is. Now I'll remove the adhesive from the back, or the release paper from it. I will take the hole at the top of my planter, hook it around that, and then I have this gold die cut heart that I made. I'm just going to put that on top of the foam, and now that swings. Isn't that fun? Dee, 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 dee. And it'll stand up like it's straight when the card's standing, but as soon as the recipient takes it out, you feel the movement. I just think it's fun. So that's something you can do with your houseplant or your monkey. If you have a monkey, you can have him hang around. I just wanted to show that. I don't know. Isn't that fun? So that is the Houseplants die set. Sometimes I amuse myself more than I amuse other people. Right, Mike? Okay. Okay. Thank you. See, some people are amused. All right, I need some water. Hang on. Okay. By the way, if you're doing any shopping, check the YouTube description for ways to save. Okay. I have 2 more keyhole die sets that you've got to see, and I'm going to do a different thing to each of them to change it up. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, this is an older die set. It is called the Hellabore flower. Is that how you say it? All you English people, tell me. I think it's the Hellabore flower. Hellabore? Is that right? Or is it fancy? I don't know. It's this flower die set. This one has been out for a while now. I'm not sure when it came out. Let's see if I can figure it out. But no. Okay. So this is a great example of a keyhole die set. This is unique to Altenew. It's something they do with a lot of their layering dies. Look for this little emblem. If it has this emblem on the website, it'll be a keyhole set. And it comes with a layering code, but it's really easy to do. Thank you. Thank you. So this is, oh, wrong one. This is the Hellabore set. And we're going to start with that. I have another one. We're going to do 2 different changes to these to make it a little more interesting. Your voice sounds like crafting is diminishing my anxiety. Sandra, yeah. Some people are like their anxiety like knocks them out. What do you say? Like the word, just debilitating. Mine, I usually get chatty. So if I either hide or I get chatty. In this case, I'm chatty. Okay, so these are the dies that come with that Hellabore die set. I pray I'm saying that right. Lots of different dies here, and it actually makes four different shaped flowers, which I love because Hellabore. Okay. I love because you can arrange them differently instead of one flower just repeated. So there are actually 4 flowers in here. And normally it would be confusing which layer together, right? But each flower has a different keyhole shape in the center. So this die right here cuts 3 layers. And all of those layers have a keyhole shaped keyhole. See those? And then the layering pieces for the center of the flowers, these cut all the centers. You can see there's one that has the keyhole and one over here that has the keyhole. So you know how they line up. So what I did is I did some die cutting. These right here are all the ones that have the keyhole hole. Okay? Okay. Where's my picker? What I do with my picker? See? This is not, okay, here it is. Okay. See, I just need my picker. Okay, so I'm going to start with number 1. I don't know if you can see there. Do you see that little, there's a 1 engraved next to the keyhole? So I know that's on the bottom. All right, so I'm going to put liquid adhesive. I like to go around the hole. And then I line up the keyhole shape with the number 2 leaf or petal layer. And then I come in with number 3. And I line it up, and each time you can see that keyhole through the center. Then we have, I did this from glitter cardstock. Line up that keyhole. And I'm kind of following the examples here and then the guide on the back. And then, this isn't going to want to dry right away, but using my picker to pick up this is like a metallic matte cardstock. Put that on top. And so I have that hole going through all the layers, so I knew exactly how to layer them. But we want to cover, it's known as the Christmas rose if I prefer, I do prefer that. It's the Christmas rose. So there's that hole there, and we need to cover that. They always have 1 layer to cover that. It's always the same shape as that top layer. You just line up the shape, and look at that. You can kind of pull those up. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So there are different shaped, there are 4 different shaped flowers like this. One has a lot more layers. I don't know where it is. Maybe it's in here. Oh, like this one. This one has even more layers. There were 7 layers, but this one had a arrow hole. So I knew all of the die cuts with the arrow at the center layered together, and they number them 1 to 7. I start with 1 on the bottom and all the way to 7, so you can see all those layers. Isn't that fun? So it just gives you variety. And I used Altenew cardstocks here. These, I told you, their blues are beautiful. So I used Altenew Iceberg, Tide Blue, and Starlight. Those look really nice together. And I think I threw in 1 more blue from my stash. There'd be another one. Okay, so those are 2 of the flowers. There's more. So you can arrange and I like the leaf die cuts in this set because they're big and they're connected. So you just put the flowers on it and you don't have to fuss with all the leaves, okay? So this is how they're meant to be. You can see the impression the die made, which gives it a little bit of texture. Now I'm going to change it up. Now this might not be your thing, but you know I like to stretch my supplies to get a different look. So we're going to do that. I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to do it with. Doop-de-doo. Give me a moment. I'm thinking. Let's do it with the simple one. So this is the one that has a big triangle at the center, and it was created with the one die. All right. I have the 3 layers here. I like to start with the darkest at the bottom and go work up to the lightest at the top. It just seems to work just fine for me. All right. Now, I'm going to do something to these petals that you might not like, but I think it's just something fun you can do. And you could do this with any of your die cuts, any die cuts that aren't delicate. We're going to use a press plate on them. So this is one of my favorite press plates. This one is, I've used it in videos before. Oh, I got to zoom out. Hang on. Hold, please. Mike left. I think it's almost beer o'clock for him. All right, so let me zoom out here. I think that's better. Okay. This press plate is one I've used many times in videos. In fact, I did a video where I did just a stenciled background, and then I used this on it like I'm about to do, and it just makes your background look like fabric. This is a must-have press plate, even if you don't have a better press system. And I think, let me look, just a second. I think it's Rustic Linen. No, that's not it. Rustic Burlap. Maybe it's Burlap. Hold on. I'm trying to remember all these things. It is the Rustic Burlap press plate, and it is on sale for 20% off right now. Okay, Rustic Burlap press plate. And if you go to the Rustic Burlap press plate link below, the first card example there is mine that Altenew put up there, and it's the one where I use this just like I'm about to do on an inked background, and it makes it look like fabric. It is the coolest thing ever. I wish I still had that card, but I sent it to someone. Okay, so I thought it'd be fun if we made an impression with this. See, I'm losing my hair. Menopause stinks. Okay. I thought it'd be fun to do an impression on these die cuts to give it texture. So this may not be your jam, but it's a way to stretch your supplies. So say you have a big heart die cut you're going to use on a background and you just want to add some interest to it. You could do what I'm about to do. So this is the flexible embossing mat. This is what we do. I've used it many times today's video. Brianne just put a link in the chat to that technique I was telling you with the rustic burlap. Okay, so I'm putting onto that flexible mat, following the instructions this die cut machine has for making an impression or dry embossing with the die, but I'm going to use a press plate. Because I have this flexible mat, this press plate's going to leave a really deep impression. So I have my flexible mat, my die cuts, and I'll put my press plate down. I don't have ink on it or anything. I hope not. The better press cannot be used with the Empress machine. That's the only bad thing about the Empress machine. Okay, but you can use it with your Spellbinders Platinum, your Gina K Intricut, or I think the Sizzix machine. All right, so now I have texture on this one, just split in half, but I can glue it back together on my little petals, which I think is fun. It's something different. So they look like fabric-y kind of die cuts. So pretend I glued these all together, just following the keyhole system, and let's look at what you get. You get this texture to your flower. Isn't that fun? Oh, Lisa, you're so right. So you see how you get that texture to your flowers. So it's just a different look. And it's a fun way to change it up, I think, right? So you could do this with any die cut, as long as it's not intricate, because you could see on this die cut where it was really intricate at the center there, it tore, but I can just glue that back together. Okay, so I did some of these. I'm not going to have a finished card with this because I still want to share something else with you. So I'll just tell you what I'm going to do. So let me get this out of the way. So I made an impression with the press plate onto my die cut. Okay, so I did that with all of these and I put them together. And then look at on the leaves. Isn't that fun? It's just fun. Diana said, I swear that Jennifer could sell me roadkill. She makes literally everything look amazing. I won't do that. I can, maybe this is, yeah, here's the thing. I get very excited in my videos about this stuff. Look at that. It looks like I have a green things growing out of my head. Anyway, I get really excited about this stuff, but what I want you to know is I only use things I like. I never show a product I don't like. That way I can genuinely be excited. If I find a product that doesn't work well for me or I don't like, I won't show it in a video because I'm not about bad-mouthing other things. But you can be sure no company pays me directly to be using products. I earn all of my income from affiliate linking. So I truly am using the things I like. I can't express that enough. And unfortunately, there's more things I like that I don't get to use, but that's what, you know, that's part of the time crunch that we all have. So I love, remember how I said I like that these are big leaves? So usually just kind of stick them together like this. And look how it's different because we put that texture to it. Little fabric flowers, yes. Brienne said, I just got a shipping notice for the last Altenew order that JM made me order. Brienne. Hey, I don't design the products. If you think these products are great, you can blame Altenew. There you go. Is that my phone?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Disney World calling. Okay, just ignore it. It's probably Jeff. Okay, see that? Isn't that fun? Now, if you want to stick to the original, you can stick to the original. Okay, so again, this one has the keyhole system. This was just a good example of the keyhole system. And there's like, these go together. So like all these die cuts layer together, they have a triangle at the center. All these die cuts layer together because they have the arrow at the center and they're numbered. So it makes it really easy. And if you ask, what is that? I'm sorry. I don't know what that text was. That's weird. If you ask any of my friends, there's many in the comments here who really know me, they know that this is, I get excited about this stuff because I genuinely love it. There's a few people here who were at the Brutus Monroe store with me while I was going around like a kid in a candy shop. He does have a candy shop too, so that's literal. But now I haven't finished this, but let me tell you what I was going to do. I think this background may be too busy for it, but I was thinking of putting it on this Letterpress background I created. I think it's a little too busy. I think I'll redo that background with a lighter ink color. Oh, maybe it's okay. This background I did with another press plate, which I can't find. It is the Basketweave press plate. So I did the Basketweave press plate with iceberg ink. Let me see. I think the Basketweave, yes. And the Basketweave press plate that I used on this background, where did it go? Here it is. This is the Basketweave press plate, and it is right now 50% off. So with this press plate, you can foil on your glimmer. With this press plate, you can do better press system, which I did right here, and you can see how crisp the image is, or you can make an impression like I just did before, like I did on these die cuts. So this is the Basketweave. I saw it was 50% off, and I was really excited about that. So I plan to just do a little, oops, I broke off a leaf. I plan to do like a little cluster of flowers here in the center, and then I think I'm going to use that Happy Quince, I'm not sure I'm saying that right, stamp set, and it says hugs. I don't know where I put it. Just a little hugs right at the center there. I think that would work. Yeah, it does look like a basket. This press plate with like on craft cardstock with like a light brown ink looks beautiful. But I think I'll use that background. So I'll finish this card up and I'll share it on my blog, and probably with a shortened replay of this live. I tried to do a short and replay. I'm trying to get back to doing them. Sometimes it's hard because I try to stay on topic. And so it's hard to cut out things that aren't valuable. Yeah. Oh, Diana, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, Vicky was there when I went crazy. Oh, good, I'm pronouncing it correctly. Vicky was there when I went crazy at Brutus Monroe. I too spend a lot of money on this stuff. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. There are worse things to spend your money on, as long as you have the money to spend. So that was the Basketweave. It's in the YouTube description below, and it's 50% off right now. Okay, next up, I have one more thing I want to show you. Oh, perfect. We're good on time. I tried to do 2-hour lives. I'm sorry they're longer than most, but I put in a lot. Hopefully you learn a few things. So this is the Carnation layering die set. This one's brand new. And it is another good example of that keyhole system. Okay? I'm just looking at, when you see me get flustered, it's me trying to read the comments too, because I try not to miss too much. But I thought this was another great keyhole example. It creates 2 different flowers. One of them has a triangle at the center. So all of these layer together to create this big mama flower. Then this one, all of these die cuts will have a little arrow in the center, and they layer together to be that one. And all of that's on the back. But I find I don't even need this because these die cuts are numbered and they have the hole, and so I just line it up. So I lined one up. I'll show you in a moment. I lined one up here, and that is just this big flower here. And you can see it puts the little indented texture in the petals. Isn't that gorgeous? There are also the beautiful flower or leaves, which again, I love that they're connected, so you can just kind of have them sticking out the side. And here's the other flower layered together. So there's 2 flowers. The cardstock that I used here, I'm trying to get better about showing these, but it's a process to swatch all these. This is the purple wine, which is a really unique color. Puffy heart and pink diamond. And by the way, they have inks that match that too. And if you are shopping for cardstock, in addition to these blues, there's one really unique color that I am just loving right now. This Berrylicious. See how it's like more wine color than pinks. So here's a berry color. So see, I don't know, it's really unique. I haven't used it in a video yet. I need to. Okay, so let me show you some things you can do. Now you could just glue them together as is, right? But you know me, I want to show you another way you can use a press plate to add some interest to your die cuts. So again, this, you may like the look without this added to it, but it's just another way to stretch your supplies. And say you have like a die cut that is like a tag die cut in the back of your card. You could do this to it just to add some interest. So last time I used this Rustic Burlap with the embossing mat to do pressure in my die cut machine. So no better press system was needed. It just made that texture on those blue die cuts, right? Now I'm going to use the press plate how it's meant to be used with the better press. You could also do this in foil on your die cuts. So I'm going to put that down onto my better press. It's magnetic, it'll stay there. Now onto this, I'm at that stage where I can't find things. I'm going to take my die cuts, I'm going to put a little bit of tape runner on the back and stick it on there. And a little bit of tape runner on the back of this one and stick it on there up here. And I'll do these too. I'm just going to do a few at once just to save some time. So just a little bit of adhesive, not a whole lot. So now those are stuck to this. I'm going to take ink. I'm using pink diamond for the top. I'm hoping this will show up. I don't know if this will be dark enough. You know what, I'm going to use puffy heart on the top. I'm gonna use the same color. I think it's the same color ink, maybe not. Hold please. Yeah, I think these are so this is puffy heart cardstock and I'm using puffy heart ink. On this one, it's purple wine cardstock, so I'll use purple wine ink. I'm gonna ink up the bottom of this plate with purple wine. So that'll end up on these bottom die cuts, the darker die cuts. And I'm gonna use the puffy heart at the top of the plate because that's where those two are. Now you can blend colors on here. You can do whatever you want. Lots of things you can do. Now I'll take this, flip it over. So those die cuts are kind of floating above. Now I'll take it through, which will squish it down. And this will give that burlap print and a tiny bit of texture, a lot less texture than what I did before, onto those die cuts. So just add some interest. Now there are other press plates, background plates, but I really like this burlap one because it kind of gives that fabric-y look. So now I have die cuts with that press plate pattern. Isn't that fun? So I did all of the die cuts. Let me clean this off real quick. I did all of the die cuts with, let me find my towel. It's on the floor. I did all of the die cuts for one of the flowers with the technique I just showed you, where I used the press plate, the burlap press plate with the better press system. So let me move these out of the way because I did them all earlier. And you can see I used lighter ink, so it's a little more subtle on these. I don't know, just a little more, see how it's a little more subtle? Maybe I'll switch to these two big ones. I don't know. Okay, so these are all the die cuts that go together. Oh, I think I mixed them up. Okay, I am doing the triangle. So I'm doing all the die cuts. I mixed up two different ones. These are all the die cuts that have the triangle in the center. I'm finding my number one. Let's see here. Now, I made the mistake. Hold on. Okay, yeah, this is one. All right, so this is one. I'm doing it in my darkest color. I put liquid adhesive around the center. Now my second layer, the one that says number 2, I did in the same color because I didn't have like 8 different shades of cardstock to layer together. So let me just use my picker. Thank you, Mike. I need Brienne here to help me. And I like to see how I run the piercer. Hang on, I'm trying to zoom. Wrong way. Sorry. I have to use this remote and it's really slow. Okay, so see how there's that whole, I like to use my picker, the piercing out of my picker tool just to kind of run around to make sure they're lined up. Then that was number 2. Now we have number 3. Put liquid adhesive around it. This guy right here is number 3. I'm going to line up the little triangle at the center. Make sure it's all lined up. Then, see, I'm impatient. Then number 4. And these two I did in the same color cardstock too. You could do a different color for each, or you could ink them up different. There's number 4. Then number 5 is, I think, let me look at the key here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is this wonky looking one. It's this one right here. Yep, there's a 5 on that. This one goes, I'm going to put some more glue on the back of this just so it stays. Line that up. And it's looking kind of wonky, but it's going to work really well. Yeah, I knew I could have found 7 different colors of pink, but I didn't. Then we have the next one here. Look at that. Isn't that fun? Now we're into the lightest colors. So this guy goes right here. Look at that. This final pink, I'm not sure what this is. This is one I found in my scraps. I don't think it's Altenew. So now I put glue on that. Oh, wrong side. Put glue on that. Now this layer here dried pretty, this light pink ink, Better Press ink on this light pink cardstock dried pretty light, so it's pretty subtle. Then this is the last layer, so they always have one final solid layer to cover all of those little triangle holes. So you just line it up. Okay, now I would usually put something heavy on that while it dries. And there, look at that. All layers up. So here we have a solid one. And here we have, let me put them like that. So, hang on, I can't hold them well. This is the solid one, just as is. This one, I used that press plate with a little bit of ink or a matching ink color just to add that pattern to it. Now I did a very light color. You can make it more intense with a darker ink. But I think it makes it look like fabric. So this is a little less intense than the blue ones I created using the other die set and making an impression. See how when I made an impression with my die cut machine and press plate, you get this texture. This, you get this crisp pattern when you use the press plate with the better press system. So just different textures to play with. In fact, I really think this guy right here, let me put these guys together. Hang on. I think this one's going to be good because I use darker colors. This is one of the other 4 flowers. So this is next one. I don't have the center. Hang on. I don't have the center or the other layers, but this little keyhole's stuck in there. Let me get it out so I can show you. I don't have all of the rest of the layers, but see how I used a darker ink, so it's a little more obvious on this. So if you don't have a press plate, you could use an embossing folder to get this much texture, or you could use just stamping on your die cuts. Like a stripe stamp would be fun, or a polka dot stamp. But it's really all about mixing and matching. And I wanted to use a lot of the Letterpress today because I find that to be such an innovative product. And remember, you can foil with those press plates. So you could foil that detail on these too if you have a glimmer machine or a similar machine to that. So I tried to pick several of the most innovative products that I've enjoyed using lately, one being these keyhole die cuts where it lines up. And remember to look for this little emblem on their website because those are the ones that make it easy to line up. So we got the keyhole, we got the better press plates, the press plates. We have the stencils that all line up with the etching. We have the stencils that line up with the die that cuts them all at once, the zero waste. So, and then the stamp wheel to do quick backgrounds. So there's a lot of different innovative products that I'm very appreciative of companies coming out with. Now, I know some people are overwhelmed by how much that is out there, and I totally get that. But please know, no company expects you to like everything to be your jam. For example, when you go to like, Mike just put this up. He got me that for Christmas. If you go to Nordstrom's, Macy's, whatever, and you go into the clothing department, there are a ton of options, right? A ton of them. They don't expect you to get every one. They expect you to see lots of options and hopefully find one that works for you. And it's the same thing with all these things these companies are coming out with. I know it can be overwhelming because you maybe want it all, just like when I go into Nordstrom's, I want all the shoes, but I just go for what I know works for me. And sometimes you try something new. And what me as a card maker, content creator, video, whatever, what I am is kind of like those, what I do is kind of like the mannequins where there are example outfits at the store of different things together. And it's like giving you ideas, right? So you can look at that and say, ooh, I like that shirt. I have pants like that already at home. I need to use them together. So that's kind of what I feel like we do. I know it's overwhelming sometimes, but I'm hoping this video shows you that these innovative things are meant to make our crafting better, our crafting easier, and help this crafting industry stay strong. I hope that makes sense. Okay, it's 5 o'clock. So look, Mike, are there any, I can answer a few questions and then it's time to, I think Colin was gonna come home for dinner, so Let's see. Are there any inks that you cannot use with the better press plate? Laura asked. I haven't tried Distress ink. I'm thinking it would work fine. I wouldn't use Stays-On ink, I don't think. Maybe if you have a Stays-On cleaner, you could. I haven't found any that I don't think you could use. But I will tell you, the one that I reach for the most would be the Altenew Fresh Dye ink, because it's a little bit thicker than other inks, and it just seems to. But here's the thing. If you use the better press, if you use a press plate and a better press system, it is the way it puts the pressure down, it transfers the ink really well, even if you don't ink it up well. Does that make sense? So it's very forgiving and foolproof. Can you use metallic inks with the better press? Yes, you can use metallic pigment inks with the better press system. You can use white pigment ink. I did my live on Tuesday. I showed what white pigment ink better press looks like on colored cardstock. That is a really, really good option. If you want to make the white more intense or your metallic ink more intense, repeat the better press, run it through the better press twice. So you ink up the plate, run it through your machine. Ink up the plate again and run it through. The way the better press system works, it'll stay in position so you can add more ink down. Okay, somebody asked about the tape I have on here. This is really pathetic looking, but I'll show you. This tape that I have on here is because I just took some thin packaging, you can even see the tag hole here, and just taped it on so that if I get ink off of my plate on the background, I can wipe it off easily from the plastic, the clear piece, instead of having to use a stamp cleaner kind of thing to clean off the gray. It's just easier to clean. You don't have to do that. This piece right here is super thin. It's like the super thin stuff your stamp sets come in. Somebody said I could probably do press and seal. I need to try that. Thank you, Erica. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate the super chats. Thank you so much. Let's see. I'll answer a few more questions. I saw there were a lot today. Can you use any type plate with the system? Here's the thing. The way I like to think about it is press plates, which are these like dull gray plates. Press plates, think of it this way. Press plates are impressive because you can use them for multiple things. You can use them on a better press system, you can use them on a foil plate machine, and you can make an impression. Foil plates, you cannot use on the better press system. So it's a one-way show. Press plates are impressive because you can use them on both the better press and the foil machine. Foil plates aren't as impressive because they're only for foil machines. There's a thickness difference, and Spellbinder said it will ruin your better press. I answered that one. Do you have papers in the back also organized? Okay, Marta asked, do you have your papers in the back here organized by company or similar colors together? I'm going to do a video. I'm still not done with it. I have some blues to go. I have all my companies mixed back here so that I can see, like, Concord and Ninth Sorbet goes really nice with Gina K Peach Bellini because they're next to each other back here. So I spent a lot of time to kind of get them in an order like that. But I have little tabs that tell me what they are. And if I find two colors from two different companies that are the same, I put that name on both of those names on a tab, and I keep that cardstock together. I'm hoping that once the system's done and I get a bunch of these rings, get all my samples done, that I can show you some things that match together between companies. What is the difference between the Altenew mini brushes and the Pink Fresh half-inch brushes? They're similar. I will show you. I use both. And the reason you see me use more than one brand of blending brushes is because there are many good brands out there. And so I feel like if I show you all the good ones, you can choose what you think might work better for you. So this is an Altenew mini brush. You can see it's round. It has shorter, let me get a different color. It has, here we go, this one's clean. It has shorter little hairs or bristles. The Pink Fresh is a little bit smaller in diameter, but the bristles are longer. It just depends on what you like to use. And I use both. I used these in Tuesday's video. I'm using these today. Gina K also has really good ones. These are Gina's. Gina's are smaller in diameter, kind of in between length of bristles, closer to the Altenew, and those are great too. And then, of course, I love these from Altenew that are really tiny. They're called the mini brushes, and they come with the two of each of the two sizes in a pack together. These are great like on that candy background when you want to get into tiny areas without having to mask. That's really helpful. All right, let's do one more question. Mike, is there one more? I'm trying to put my brushes away. Be a good girl. Tracy, thank you for this super chat. I appreciate it. Very kind of you. How are you storing your press plates, glimmer plates, and that coordinate with your stamps and dies? So I keep anything that coordinates together in one pocket. So, for example, this is an older Altenew called Daisy Crown. This is a great one. I like the sentiments. The stamp set. Hold on. I forgot. I have a big stamp pocket. These are the biggest ones. I think they're the extra large from Simon Says Stamp. I've got my 6x8 stamp set in there. I've got the stencils in there. I've got the idea guide. And remember, these are card size, so you can put them on a card. I've got my dies in there, and if I have a press plate, I put it in there too. That way they're all together, and that's just what I prefer to do. If you want like more of a sleeve with a flap that's a little more durable, Altenew just has come out with some great pockets that I will start to use. I just haven't been able to. I've been using that system for a while. So there's a lot of different options, but I keep them together. All right, I think I'm done. Oh, we need a giveaway. What were you saying?
Yeah.
Oh, I need to give something away. Oh, excuse my mess. I always have something. Let's do a gift card tonight. Okay. Let's do a gift card. So if you want a chance to win a $50 gift card to Altenew, I'll donate it. Leave a comment in the chat, and then I'll pick somebody in a couple minutes. While people leave comments in the chat, let me just say a few things. First of all, Kathy Zilski did a great fundraiser on YouTube the other day for those who are in California being affected by the wildfires. She made a ton of money for Red Cross. I thought about doing that today, but Mike and I are thinking about doing something for a fundraiser where you can get one of my a card made by me if you make a donation. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. If you're interested in that, I recommend joining my Facebook group. It's called Share Handmade Kindness. Go to Facebook and search on Share Handmade Kindness. You can answer all the questions to join, and I will if I come up with a fundraiser option like that, I will talk about it in the Facebook group first. So just putting that out there. And anybody in California, you're in our prayers. Second, at the top of the YouTube description below, I have the free gift, which is the picker that I used a lot today. It comes with lids. I just don't keep mine. Free with gift. You have to add it to your cart and then use a code at checkout, and you have to use the link below. So it's with orders of $89 or more. They also have a ton of press plates on sale right now, up to 50% off. I tried to use some today so you could see some and save if you're interested. That information to that sale is below. And this is all, of course, when this video goes live. They also have free shipping over $100. So those are just some of the ways to save. I try to share those in lives because aren't we always looking to save, right? Okay, so that's the gist for today. I tried to answer as many questions as I could. Giveaway. So we're picking a winner of an Altenew $50 gift card. So that will come via email. And Mike, did you pick somebody?
Yes, I did.
Who'd you pick?
Corey Jensen.
Corey Jensen.
C-O-R-I.
C-O-R-I. Corey, you are the lucky winner of a $50 gift card to Altenew. What I need you to do is go to my website and through Contact Us, send us a message with your email address so I can send you the gift card. Or you can email help@jennifermaguireinc.com, and that ink is with a K. So either way, so congratulations to Corey. And Corey, when you shop at Altenew, note that there are a lot of ways you can save money there, a lot of clearance and discount products. I encourage you to go to the top of the website and go to the sales section. I think it kind of pulls all the sale into that area. All right, is that it? 5:11, not bad, not bad. All right, well, I'm thinking about going live on Sunday. I do need to finish organizing some things around here, but I may go live Sunday. It would be one of my lives where I just play and nothing's really prepared. And so if you just want to play along, I will announce that on Instagram and in my Facebook group if I decide to do that. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you all have a great weekend. I hope it's a 3-day weekend for most of you. It is for us here, and that you get some time to craft. I thank you for spending this time with me. I appreciate it so very much. And we'll see you again soon. Mike's got to remember to stop it.